It's good to have you join us on Insight today. On the program, we'll go full blast the 3 segments. On discussion segment, we shall be doing an appraisal of the anti-corruption war in Nigeria. Now that the presidency has said the drag neck of corruption does not respect anybody, whether you're in the public service, whether you're in the private sector. If the law catches up with you, mostly when you hold office of public trust, then you have to face the full wrath of the law. On interview segment, a couple of days ago, the president signed into law a new national minimum wage of 30,000 naira. After the signing, what next? Who benefits? How is it going to be? Is it immediately? We're supposed to have the NLC with us and also the Senior Special Assistant to the President on National Assembly Matters, Senate, will be discussing that on interview segment with us. And on media review?
Well, on media review segments today, we would be looking at some of the gray areas of this new minimum wage bill, and we'll be looking at what the media is doing to ensure that the people get to know about these gray areas, the questions in the minds of people. How will the media answer these questions?
Now, one big question people are asking is, now that it is 30,000 naira minimum wage,
yes,
does it mean 30,000 naira? So we expect the media to educate the people. Is it that it is full blast 30,000?
Yes.
What is it supposed to be?
Well, our guest will answer that
I
question.
don't want to miss your segment. Well, up next on Insight is the discussion segment. We have always told you that as the anti-corruption war is on in Nigeria, we'll always look at it at every stage. A major decision was taken a few days ago and there were a lot of reactions. So that activated the idea, where are we with the anti-corruption fight of the present administration? Is it on course? Is there a relapse? You get to find out. My guest is a former FCT chairman of the ACN. He's a politician and currently FCT Secondary Education Board member 1. Sonny Moniedafe. Thanks for joining me on Insight.
Thanks for having me. Good afternoon.
I also have a media analyst, Akanji. Thanks for joining me on Insight.
Thanks for having me.
Beautiful. Let me take off from, I'm taking my angles from what the presidency reacted with lately. And he said, the rule of law is to hold everyone accountable equally before the law, regardless of their high or low status in the society. What can we do about this?
I agree with the president 100%, and I am confident and I'm hopeful that we will maintain and sustain that. Because truly, in this country, very unfortunately, we have a situation where people who were responsible for putting us in the state we are today financially are being protected by the people who actually suffered from the misdeeds of these people. Now, without trying to sound partisan, let me just briefly mention the issue of 16 years of the PDP government. 16 years and over $800 billion they got from sale of crude to OPEC. Over $800 billion. Not one single project did they start and complete. Now, the president is fighting with those who were responsible. But before then, we had the issue of this Dasuki Gate scandal, where people who collected money actually agreed that they collected money. Some saying that they didn't know the source, some saying that they were using it to do adverts or for services rendered. But the giver and the takers accepted. That some Nigerians find it in their minds to defend such people beggars all belief. So I think the president is totally and completely on course. I am with him, and I pray he has the wisdom to sustain it, because this will not mean well for us. And those who are actually supporting them are just confused.
Okay.
Because I don't understand where they're coming from.
Okay.
I am with the president 100%.
Let me take your angle, particularly looking at the high and the low, because some say it is selective. If you're not a member of the ruling party, you are not safe. If you're a member of the ruling party, then you are safe.
I don't think I will buy into that narrative, because it's been very clear. We've seen people who've been very close to the power cycle of the president, as it may be, who were shown the way out when they were found to be wanted. And the right case here is the former STF. What the issue and also what happened, he was asked to resign. So, but I think this action or this judgment by the former CJN shows like the president stated, noted rather that no matter how well placed you are in society, the rule of law, we're all equal in the eyes of the law and the Lord. So whoever is found wanted in any way will be dealt with. And the president has made the anti-corruption fight crusade a very cardinal policy for his administration. In the last 4 years, he's been moving across the entire country. He's been discussing about that. He's gone to the next level of trying to see how we can join partnership with bilateral, multilateral agencies that can help us fight this war. You can see, for example, the Open Government Partnership, the OGP, is one of the very important institutions to join in the fight against corruption, and Nigeria is a member of that organization. The president signed an executive order mandating about 500 MDAs to disclose their account and all that. So this is transparency. And I think all he said was clearly that he's trying to say he can make Nigeria better than it was, and that's what we're going towards now. If an CGN can be tried and be found wanting, and then there was a judgment against him, that tells you that the common man should understand that justice is sacred for everyone. It's not against the high or the low, it's for every Nigerian. As long as you've done what is wrong, like the law will take care of you. And that's about building strong institutions, not strong persons in the country. So I think it's good for us. It's going to take us where we want to be. We'll have more funding. Like he was talking about over $800 billion that will share like a bazaar, like pizza. This is the monies for this country, for health, for road, for infrastructure, for education, for security, and people just consumed it. And then they don't want you to say anything about it. See regimes falling across African continents. One of them is tied to corruption. You have one man that's been there for a long time that has taken the entire wealth of the country. People are revolting against it, but we're lucky and we're happy that we are moving away from that, and we have a new sheriff who's instilling a new order for Nigeria. And I guess in the long run, we'll all be happy about this.
Well, if we take a look at the three arms of government, or the three tiers of government, as the case may be, the bottom line is that the public civil service is the engine room of public governance. Not governance generally, whether private sector, public sector. But let me take Moniedafe from here. The dragnet against corruption will spread widely to hold public officials accountable, whether they are politicians, judges, civil servants, or holding positions of public trust. You know, some persons may imagine, oh, it is a turn of Akanji. You can never get hold of me. What word of counsel do you have for them? Because this is like a riot act read to people who holding positions of trust in Nigeria.
Basically, it's a warning for everybody. You are there to serve the country, serve God, and serve people. So if you are involved in such acts and the law catches up with you, you face the music. Honestly, no sentiments, because we are one of the most blessed countries in the world in terms of resources. We have the best resources in the world, the quality. Years ago, I was into tea production. The Mambila tea, Ongola State, then now Adamawa, Taraba State. I took a sample to a trade fair in Kano. Somebody came and tasted it. He was asking where this came from. I told him Nigeria. He was amazed. Military Administrator of Kano State in 1984. We have the best in this country. But like somebody shared recently about Dubai. I was in Dubai recently, and it's not about, this is not my first time, but it came at an appropriate time where back in Nigeria, we were talking about tribe, religion, or whatever. In Dubai, they don't care about that one. One man's dream. Dubai has turned into El Dorado. Everything works, everything beautiful. In Nigeria, we're talking about religion or tribe or your zone or whatever, and it has infiltrated even the civil service. We do respect.
That's my focus now.
Yeah,
let's
we do
respect
respect, because in Abuja, the richest people in Abuja are civil servants. They
so
own
with this reminder now that the dragnet against corruption.
Yes, and now I want to advise anybody. You see, all these people. Let me digress a little bit. All these people have been accused of corruption. Have you heard their families coming out to defend them? No. It's Nigerians who suffered, who are suffering from the mess that we are in as a result of the stealing, that are coming out to support these people who have even admitted in some cases that they took this thing. One of them said they took 4 billion naira for prayers in Makkah. 4 billion naira for prayers. And then a Christian man comes and says, I want it to be done equally. Give me 2 or 3 billion for Christian prayers.
So this now says like maybe a reminder.
People should watch out.
Exactly.
Because truly, the president said it, that this time around, this will be different. And this is the second time he wants to leave a good legacy. And honestly, I'll be in full support. Let us get it right. Because the monies we have wasted in this country, individuals who end up leaving them in banks overseas, they die, it becomes a problem recovering them. Meanwhile, our infrastructure is dead. I was talking to you before we came on air about this access road to NTA in Abuja. For years, it was uncompleted. But I am sure monies for this contract have been collected, if not 100%, at least 70% collected. And some people have eaten it. It's completed now.
So against all odds, will you say that the anti-corruption war is selective or is on course?
It is not selective. Because you asked Akanji earlier, he told you about people who are in APC right now that got their fingers burnt. As we speak, Senator Cosmas Hope Uzodinma, was a candidate for governorship in Imo State. He still has a case in court or EFCC. EFCC. He talked about the former SGF who has been removed. President Buhari doesn't care about those things. Now, there's a current discussion I'm having with some friends on Facebook, trying to compare the Ghanaian president's speech to the president's speech. We are quick to do that. We are quick to draw relevance, across the border. But if we in the party come and mention it, they'll say, hey, we are having a pity party, we are just beating about the bush. But they are comparing what happened in Ghana, what's happening there, what's happening here. Totally different things. These are the armchair critics that we have on ground who don't want to see anything good with somebody that means well for this country. President Buhari has told the whole world that the owners of Nigeria, in quotes, owners who own all the oil blocks, who have ridden roughshod over us for years, won't have it the same way anymore. And by the time the licenses expire next year, no renewal. You can imagine if these oil blocks are given to the various states to manage, and the president tells the various individuals of those states, monitor your governors, make sure these oil blocks are put to effective use. We'll get far beyond where we are today. Okay.
In a matter of weeks, we are going to have a new administration in place.
Yeah.
The inauguration of Mr. President for a second term. The National Assembly will be inaugurated. The 9th National Assembly will be inaugurated. And that will follow on. New Federal Executive Council, new governors at the state level will take place. And I imagine that a lot of them may have been coming with this euphoria of, I'm going to make money. Judging from this statement, if you don't mind, I read again. The dragnet against corruption will spread widely to hold public officials accountable, whether they are politicians, judges, civil servants, or holding positions of authority.
Yeah, I mean, the statement is very clear, it's lucid. And dragnet is going to go to everybody. And already the signal is there already. The first signal is the CGN. This is a very highly placed person. This is what's happened to him already. So whoever thinks is coming for this kind of thoughts of action to come and probably plunder the entire place, loot the entire place, should understand that they are going to be dragged. And the civil service, you can have cases of the whistleblowing policy is a very good policy that's helping fight against corruption. You have people writing petitions against probably some directors or a PAMSEC or so, just to find out to see that this person has his hand dipped in the cookies. And then security agencies or anti-corruption agencies now make the investigation. And if you're found wanting, they take care of you out. So I think clearly the president has made this very clear. And in the last 4 years, he's the face of corruption on the African continent.
He's still the face.
He's still the face. Yeah. So it tells you that the world appreciates what he's doing.
It's not a tenure appointment.
It's not. He's not.
Decide.
Yeah, okay. When to change. So he's an ambassador already. You have other countries coming to understudy our anti-corruption crusade, our template. So he's exporting his template to other African countries. He was in Jordan and UAE just 2 weeks ago. You can see what he was speaking about. That the respect is there. They called him to come and give a keynote speaker there. So if you don't see that you're doing the right things in your own country, no one will call you out there. So I think we should all join the president in this fight against corruption. It's hard and all that, but it's all in our interest. Like he was saying, the Nigerian, the real people, the real Nigerians will take over their country and begin to hold their leadership accountable. That's all about it. And we saw that in elections. If you come in for 4 years and feel like you don't do what's right, people vote you out. No longer that time whereby you come and you want to use the system and then get yourself back. That's been demystified. Federal might. It's been demystified already.
Yeah.
A lot of people will have a lot of examples of such.
Okay, before we wrap up, I remember during Nigeria Decide, I asked one of the guests, I said, why is it that people win elections in Nigeria and they go into celebrations? The question is, what are you celebrating? You won an election and you're celebrating. You're celebrating what? And now, let me use that for you to speak to the institutions. If the institutions are not straightened, will this all work?
They have to be straightened, but who straightens institutions? We do it ourselves. Now, this question reminds me of my general campaign on my social media page about change begins with us. Our attitudes are key. If we don't change our attitudes, nothing will ever happen. So those people manning those institutions, they have to realize that even they themselves are subject to being caught by the government. Whoever thought Onogen? I remember the sentiments that followed after there was a slight delay in confirming Onogen as a CGN then. How I wish he had just accepted and gone quietly. He would have been a free man. They forced him sort of on the president because he's from the South. Nobody from the South had been CGN. This is the time to do it. And look at what has happened. And along with that, the Senate President, Saraki, a sitting president, was made to stand in the dock of the CCT. And he was put, that should be enough signal. Anybody that you try anything, you are caught, you face the law. Nigeria is far, far bigger than any individual. And we must realize that. Now we're talking about people celebrating when they win elections. Because they think that, to borrow the balance of the typical worry boy, I don't hammer. Those days are gone. Your judge should be being given the privilege to serve people. Leave a mark, make an impact. Because truly, there is more to life than money. Far, far more. Legacies, you're a good name. A good name. I've never missed the opportunity of sharing this story with people. My father did a favor to somebody in 1951 in dusty Jimetayola. 1991, 40 years later, I applied for a job in a bank. The 13-year-old boy who was staying with his uncle, who was my father's friend, was now the chairman of a board of a bank. He saw my name. 40 years after, what my father sold, I reaped. Now, whatever my father had left for us, if it had been financial, it would have been gone. But a legacy, I reaped 40 years later. That move gave me the privilege to leave Jimetayola for Lagos in 1991. And that's how I'm here today, because if I had not left Yola, I wouldn't be here. So the legacy of 1950, 49 years, 69 years later, is still on.
Okay.
A small seed that was sown. So that should be people's focus. It's not about money. You have this money, you put it in a bank, some hide it in buildings, in the ceiling, and then you die and leave it there. You don't tell people. It's just wasting there. People's health bill, people's education, people's future. Because you are selfish. And the certain is, maybe their families benefit from these monies.
Okay.
Most of them, not even their immediate families, see this money. One person has embezzled and hidden billions. Like Dr. Moniedafe said, it's been recorded and played everywhere. If you have 1 billion naira and you spend 100,000 naira per day for about 20-30 years, 1 billion will not
without
finish.
investing it?
Without investing. Okay. Just have 1 billion and be spending 100,000 naira every single day. Okay. It will not finish.
Let me just hold you there, please. Akanji, you are comparatively, let's look at us. You are a very young Nigerian. And like you use the word legacy. If Nigerians at your age band go with what is being fought against, will we move forward? Can you talk to Nigerians at your age band?
Yeah, I mean,
because like Mr. President said, he's going to be more inclusive in his governance process now. Now, if youths coming with the idea of coming to just make money, dip their hands illegally in the cookie jar and pick, will it be nice?
It won't be nice, and that's why we're very happy and proud that we have Mr. President, because the youths, one, they lacked role models. The role models they see are people that dip their hands into the treasury and feel when you come to governance, you just make money, drive expensive cars, live in the nice houses, fly across the world, and everyone thinks that's how life should be. So we're happy that we have a president who's trying to reorient us again. He's advocating for that. This is not the norm. You have to walk through the ranks. And I'm a clear example of such. I never knew anybody where I was working, but through the system, what you bring to the table actually brings you up. They say a kid who washes his hand will dine with the kings. So we have to understand to play by the process. So I call on all our youth not to allow ourselves to be used by all these people, but to see how we should work hard and earn the right what's actually legitimate ours for a better country. Inclusiveness of Nigerians and all in the country. I think it's all going to be in our interest. And then you live secure, because if everyone is okay, nobody will be no kidnapping, no banditry and all that. So we'll all enjoy ourselves. So I think we should support the government and see if we can move forward.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen.
Before I go, I have to say this.
Just a few.
On my Facebook page, I asked the question. I said, who is your political role model? I probably said President Buhari. All those who were fighting everybody on Facebook, none of them could mention anybody as their role model. I stood up and said, President Buhari is my political role model. So who is our role model? That's what our youths lack. And they have to wake up. The youths, I've been with youth for the past 35 years of marriage. I've been in my church, youth church minister for 18 years now. And we need to make sure our youths know the right things.
Well, I must say, gentlemen, it was nice having a chat with you on Insight, and I believe we sustained a line of thought which should have gone to touch the sensibilities of Nigerians. Sonny Moniedafe, thanks for being on Insight.
My pleasure.
And also, Akanji, I believe you touched the Nigerian youths, and they'll be thinking seriously about who their role model will be.
I hope so. Thanks for having me.
That's about that on this segment of Insight. Up next on Insight is the interview segment. Don't go away.